All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Unit 1. So this is the conclusion of Unit 1, and we've got to make sure that we are nice and well prepared for our Unit 1 test. So let's go ahead and go through our notes from start to finish. Be sure you have all of your note sheets in front of you, as well as your warm-ups, because I can personally attest that 4 out of your 5... Child, can you not? Sorry, my dog is being petty because she knows that I won't play with her right now. Can you not? Thanks. Okay. Anywho, I can personally attest that 4 out of your 5 written response questions on your test come directly out of the warm-up. So please make sure that you are doing this. Listen, my dog is just going to make noise, okay? That's just how today is going to go. Girl, chill out. Okay, so your test is going to be 35 multiple choice and 5 short answer. Okay, so again, here's your definition of civics. Dog, please chill out. Alright, so let's talk about government. It's a ruling authority with the power to make and enforce laws. And you have absolutely 100,015% got to know the difference between power and authority. Power is the ability and authority is the right. And we know that because authority is misspelled over here. R-I-T inside of the word. Get your feet off the table. Whew, sorry, y'all. Okay, so moving right along. Let's see, what's next? 4 functions of government. They are security, services, order, and public policy. And again, if a government fails to do one or more of these functions for you, there is a strong chance that your government is not actually functioning at all, and you should more than likely try and find a different type of government that works for you. Alright, so more review from World. Our types of government, you are most certainly going to be asked questions about democracy and monarchy, okay? And both types of which. So let's zoom into the other ones down here. Remember, you have 2 types of democracy, representative and direct. Representative is also known as a republic when we elect people to rule on our behalf. All right, and then a direct democracy is when the people rule themselves with no representatives, okay? And again, monarchy also has 2 types, absolute and constitutional, okay? And then in an absolute monarchy, they have complete power. All right, in a constitutional monarchy, the monarch's power is limited by a constitution with the people. And again, constitution is a piece of paper with rules on it. Okay, and remember, we're talking about how much power people have. It's either anarchy, totalitarianism, or limited, nice in the middle. Democracy is ruled by the people. Oligarchy by the few, and autocracy by one person. Okay, typically autocracy takes the form of a monarchy. All right, moving right along. We're going to zoom past that for right now, but we are going to need to know that federalism is when national or federal and state governments share power. Okay, and remember we have 3 branches of government that are horizontal: legislative, executive, and judicial. And then we have 3 levels in each individual branch. So this little triangle with its 3 levels, federal, state, and local, will be up here. Oh gosh, move when I tell you to move. Will be up here in this particular set of things. So 3 levels in the legislative branch: federal, state, and local; executive, federal, state, and local; and judicial, federal, state, and local as well. Okay. All right, moving right along to origins of the United States government. Please note that the Magna Carta is the first attempt to limit the king's power. However, we know that the Magna Carta does not actually work, and it does not work because it is forced. Okay? The only one that actually works is the 1689 English Bill of Rights. The 1689 English Bill of Rights. So go ahead, if you have not done so already, on your note sheet for origins of the United States government, beside Magna Carta, will you please go back and write forced, or doesn't work forced, beside it, okay, preferably in a different color. All right, and then for 1689, that one works, and because it works, and people switch governments and nobody dies, we refer to this as the Glorious Revolution. Glorious Revolution, okay? All right, let's see, I'm trying to think of specific questions on the test. Let's see. Oh, Puritans versus Pilgrims is definitely one on there. So Puritans and Pilgrims, remember, Puritans want to fix the Church of England, and Pilgrims want to leave in order to do so. They want to leave in order to do so. Okay, charter company, make a profit, dot, 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 dot. And then, oh grief, let me skip around a little bit. All right, the next thing we need to go focus on is mercantilism. All right, exporting more than you import. Okay, this means that colonies are producing raw materials for the mother country, and it also means that wealth is measured in gold, and the mother country who has the most gold has the most power. Okay. All right. Let's talk about triangular trade specifically. You are going to have to be able to draw and label for me. Not necessarily draw like the continents or whatever. I'm not asking you to be Picasso out here. But you do need to tell me where the locations are. Okay? So colonies over here. What are they trading this way? Europe over here. What are they trading down? So colonies are producing raw materials. So raw materials will go up here. Europe is over here. And mother countries, they are trading finished goods, and then West African kingdoms and slave merchants are trading slaves over here. All right. Common law is made by judges and is based on precedent or past decisions. Okay. And then let's talk about our two representative and direct democracy. Well, our one representative and direct democracy example each. Are self-government in the colonies. All right. So our example of a direct democracy is a Mayflower Compact. Everybody on the boat votes. If you need to write that down so it'll help you, go ahead and do so. I'll repeat it. Everybody on the boat votes. Okay, on the other side, with a representative democracy, all right, an example of this is the Virginia House of Burgesses. Okay, it's a house of elected representative people. Okay, so old landowning white men elect other old landowning white men to tell them the rules. Okay, if we're being real about it. All right, moving right along. Let's see. Oh, let's definitely talk about the principles of government and our philosopher friends. Okay, hopefully you remembered something about the Enlightenment, and if you didn't, we're going to have some problems. All right, so the first thing we have to talk about is self-government, which we just discussed. Separation of powers into 3 branches so that one group or person does not become too powerful. The whole key here, the reason why we separate powers is to make sure that nobody has too much power. Okay, we are splitting it up. So if one person tries to get too powerful, there are 2 other branches that can check them. All right, rule of law. Everybody has to follow the law and nobody is above it. Consent of the governed is super important. Consent of the governed means that you and the government have got a deal. All right, government protects you, provides order, fulfills your 4 functions of government, and the people give their consent or permission to be governed and promise to at least attempt to abide by the rules. Okay. All right, and then some natural or unalienable rights that you are born with. John Locke's OG3 are life, liberty, and property. Okay, and then Thomas Jefferson steals them, but switches them up a little bit and decides that the this dog is a mess. Is life, liberty, and the pursuit. Y'all, I'm struggling today. Okay, so limited government. It does not have absolute power. Limited by all kinds of things. Let's talk about these philosopher guys. Number 1 is John Locke. Okay, the way to remember the difference between John Locke or what he thinks about and other people is that you put a lock on your property. Life, liberty, property. Okay. Thomas Jefferson steals essentially an entire paragraph of John Locke's work and makes it into the Declaration of Independence, or part of it. Okay, he writes about natural rights, and his 3 natural rights that he discusses are life, liberty, and property. You put a lock on your property. All right, the next one is Baron de Montesquieu. All right, Montesquieu is how we write that. He writes about separation of powers into 3 branches. Okay, so if you take your fingers and you hold them up, okay, as if you were doing, you hold 3 fingers up, you flip them down. That is an M for Montesquieu. So 3 branches, flip it down, and it's an M for Montesquieu. All right, Jean-Jacques Rousseau writes about the social contract, and so does our pal Thomas Hobbes, except they've got a big difference. Rousseau, overthrow. Okay, Rousseau, overthrow. Highlight the word overthrow. I put it in all caps for a reason. All right, Thomas Hobbes says that consent equals absolute government power. Okay, that's the big difference here. All right. My fantastic meme makes me chuckle. All right. Y'all know how colonial regions work. New England, it's real cold. We're trading. And there's Puritans. Middle is mixed all around. Okay, and then Southern, it's a warm climate. We grow stuff. It's mostly Anglican, and pretty much we're here for cash, all right? And since there are Puritans in New England, okay, they are there for religious freedom, but pretty much only for themselves. We've already taken that. All right, conflicts. Ooh, we're gonna zoom out and then zoom in on what we need to zoom in on because I don't have every question on here on the test. If I were you, I would pay specific attention to the French and Indian War, the Navigation Act. Would you like to go out now? Okay. She's always needy when I'm making videos. Okay, so French and Indian War, Navigation Acts. Let's see, what else do I have a question on? Stamp Act, for sure. Definitely the Intolerable Acts. First and Second Continental Congress. Remember, the First Continental Congress is the squad that's like, hey, we're mad. And the Second Continental Congress actually writes the Declaration of Independence. Okay? See, that wasn't too painful. All right, and then, let's see. I think that's about all we got, friends. And then, and then the AOC. Let's talk about the AOC real fast. So, at the end of the American Revolution, we have swiftly kicked the British out, kicked them to the curb. They're going, goodbye, we're our own country now. See you later. And once we're free, we make a new government. We made a pretty crappy government in response to being scared of another monarchy. Okay, so we as the 13 states decide that we are very stressed out about federal power, so we're going to give all the power to the states and see how that goes. Okay? All right, so the colonial issues with the British monarchy. We got a tyrant, and so therefore we have no executive leader. We're mad about taxes, so we just don't have any, which sounds great, except remember we have no money. Okay? But additionally, we are represented in the legislature. All right, we can't trade, and now there's no rules, except that also means there's no rules to help you with trade, which means every state has its own kind of money, which is stressful. Okay, now we're out here moving west. Remember, the Northwest Ordinance is the only real success of the AOC. Okay, additionally, we got unfair trials. Therefore, we have no national courts and no national military. These all become a problem. And then eventually, Daniel Shays and pals reveal pretty much every issue with the AOC. Okay, I think that's about it, y'all. All right. This has been your Unit 1 review.